Did Jennifer almost quit Friends more than once?
Because it can be so hard, and painful.
Why did Rachel become a curse for Jen? And how did Brad Pitt cause the show's reunion? A 10th season without Rachel?
I just can't believe this. I mean, with the holidays coming up?
We've always thought of the 6 friends as equally important characters, but have you ever considered one of them to be the main lead? According to some fans, Rachel was the most important character because the show started with her joining the group and ended with her finding her happily ever after. This makes it even more unbelievable that the final season could have had no Rachel at all. That's right, Jennifer Aniston wanted to quit the show after the 9th season.
No!
Apparently, there were a few reasons why she wanted to leave. First of all, rapidly becoming more famous than her Friends co-stars, the actress had quite a packed schedule at the time. Jennifer had at least one film coming out each year, and it was getting harder for her to manage it all, along with the role of Rachel. Another reason was that Aniston wanted Friends to end, according to her own words, when people still loved them and they were on a high. Not like people stopped loving them even 17 years later. But anyway, I get that she didn't want the sitcom to become dry and unfunny and lose its audience.
And I also was feeling like, how much more of Rachel do I have in me?
And one more reason why Jennifer wanted to quit sooner rather than later was her then-husband Brad Pitt.
When you have that much energy coming at two people, whether it's wanting them to just fall apart or wanting them to be happy, it's hard. It can mess with your mind.
The actress mentioned that she wanted to take a step back from her celebrity status for a while and focus on her family.
The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a vacation. I'm going to see as much of the world as I can before I have a child.
Little did she know that these plans weren't destined to come true, and her and Brad got divorced shortly after Friends ended. Speaking of Brad, did you know that he was the one who convinced Jennifer to join the Friends reunion special episode? More on that later. Change of attitude. Most of the Friends stars were ready to move on from their sitcom fame after all the years they'd spent on that set. Only Lisa Kudrow didn't want the fun to end. "I would keep going," she once said. "There would come a time anyway when someone would have said, 'We've had enough.' But why not have fun until they do?" That's a good point, Lisa. Oh, and she actually knows why it was time to end the show, and we'll get back to that later. But anyway, all of the Friends cast wanted the 10th season to happen and give a proper conclusion to the series. And they also understood that the show wouldn't be the same without Rachel. I mean, how on earth would the finale look without Rachel getting off the plane and reuniting with Ross? So it's no wonder that all of them decided to convince Jennifer to stay in the series. Aniston eventually gave in. The actress was the last one to sign on for the final season, but she did it on one condition. She wanted it to be shorter and end the filming sooner. For this reason, instead of the usual 20-plus episodes, the 10th season of Friends only had 18. It's a shame, right? Well, on the other hand, at least Rachel was there. But the funniest thing is, when they were getting closer to wrapping up the series, Jennifer realized that she didn't want it to be over.
Of course, I'm just terrified. I don't want it to end at all.
Well, when they were filming the final episode, none of the actors wanted it to end. Tears were flowing all over the set, and Jennifer once admitted that they had to do so many makeup touch-ups because of all the crying. The realization that it was the last time they'd ever be together on that set struck the actors very hard. But all of them knew that it was time to end the show. And by the way, Lisa Kudrow had her own theory on why exactly. The end of the Ross and Rachel era.
I mean, it's the end of an era! I know!
From the very first episode onward, it was all about, will Ross and Rachel be together or not? All of their reunions, breaks, and even marriages brought more viewers to the series every time the next twist happened. Whether it was about I Take Thee Rachel or an unexpected pregnancy after a one-night stand,
I'm pregnant.
Friends fans always wanted to see more of Ross and Rachel, and it looks like by the end of the show, the writers were out of ideas of how to maintain this dynamic. At least, that's what Lisa Kudrow says.
For the writers, I know it was becoming a challenge to keep Ross and Rachel apart. It had been, 9 years already.
Yep, these two would never have closure in their relationship.
With us, it's never off the table.
So it's evident that the show had to end with either them finally getting back together or saying goodbye to each other forever. Needless to say, everyone preferred the first option. But did you know that there was a possibility that the whole Ross and Rachel thing wouldn't happen at all? Muddling through uncertain times. Imagine a parallel universe where Jennifer Aniston quit Friends midway through its first season. In this case, there would either be someone else playing Rachel, or there could be no Rachel at all.
No!
It was actually possible because, in the beginning, the writers wanted to make Monica and Joey the power couple of the series. They changed their mind mostly because they saw incredible chemistry between David Schwimmer and Jennifer Aniston. If it wasn't for this, Friends could have been a very different series. But anyway, even with Rachel in the formula, Aniston still could have quit the show much earlier. When the first season was being filmed, the actress was also involved in another series. It was titled Muddling Through, and it aired on another channel.
If you don't go out with me, I'm gonna have to arrest my heart on a 402 Section C, because darling, you got it doing 90 in a school zone.
That show was also only beginning, and no one could guess which series would be successful. So, hiring Jennifer to play Rachel was a huge risk. But the Friends writers went for it and shot a few episodes with Aniston. For a while, no one knew whether they could keep Jennifer in the show or if they'd have to recast her and reshoot her scenes. And at that time, if Muddling Through had succeeded, she'd have to leave Friends to focus on it. The actress would certainly have done it without even thinking twice. After all, she'd already quit quite a few failed sitcoms in her career. So, logically, she'd stay with the one that had the most successful prospect. But then, Muddling Through was canceled after only 9 episodes. The final one never even aired. Thank God that show failed, because that's when it became clear that Aniston was destined to play Rachel. And this year, after giving it a lot of thought, and after an enormous struggle in her personal and professional life, Jennifer came back to this iconic role.
I'm just shifting my wig.
Good call.
Life after Rachel. The overnight success was a good thing for Jennifer and all of her castmates, and she certainly loved playing this funny, lovable, pretty, delightful, yet a bit spoiled girl who grew to become a successful woman working at her dream job. Over a year ago, People's Choice even named Aniston People's Icon for her role in the sitcom. Receiving this honorary award, Jennifer thanked the cast and crew of Friends.
It was the gift of a lifetime, and I would not be standing up here without that amazing show, without those amazing 5 other actors, and with an audience who stuck with us for a decade.
On the surface, it all looks perfect. But in reality, the actress struggled quite a bit. And I'm not talking about her heartbreaking divorce from Brad Pitt. If you want to know more about that, watch another video we made about Jen's personal life. She struggled with her career too. The Rachel role became a curse for Jennifer. The actress was typecast in romantic comedies, in relatively similar roles as a funny and pretty girl next door. I could not get Rachel Green off my back for the life of me, Aniston revealed to The Hollywood Reporter. All she wanted was to prove to everyone that she was capable of more than just being a comedic actress.
I completely just fought with myself and who I was in this industry for forever, because it was just constantly about trying to prove that I was more than that.
However, Jennifer finally did show her diversity by playing in a few dramas, such as The Good Girl, Cake, and The Morning Show. And there was one more thing that helped her overcome the one-role curse, and that was time. There is such a freedom in getting older because you just stop giving a crap, the actress shared with The Hollywood Reporter. Well, she certainly is right. And these days, she feels free enough to go back to the old rule that she spent so long trying to shake off. The long-awaited Friends reunion special episode, titled The One Where They Get Back Together, gathered the sitcom stars. Aniston struggled for quite a while with the idea of making it, though.
It's my line, but this is a really stupid line. It's dumb. This is really dumb.
You'd be surprised to find out that it was her ex-husband, Brad Pitt, who convinced the actress to at least think about the reunion. A source close to the actress reported a couple of years ago that he said to Jen that it would greatly honor the show's success. So he advised her to say yes to the idea of a reunion for the sake of the fans and the show itself. We don't know if it's true or not, but it's quite possible. And we're thrilled to see Jennifer back again with her Friends co-stars.
It is so fun coming here.
Even if it's just for a short while. If you like this video, watch another one we made about the struggles the Friends actors had to overcome while filming the show. And stay awesome!